In the last lecture, we covered off on the third point, the third step that you should take to set up your first profitable AdWords campaign, and that is to have a congruent landing page, a consistent landing page with your ad, and to really begin with the end in mind. That was the key lesson from this lecture, was really to have it set up so when you create an ad, when you pay for traffic to arrive there, that they actually will convert and take that action that aligns with your business goals. Okay, so in this lecture now, we're moving on to the fourth step in our 10-point checklist, essentially, which is to select the right campaign type. Now, this is the first step that you will actually take within Google AdWords itself. So what we've been doing up to now is really preparing outside of AdWords, and the rest of the process is going to be inside of AdWords. What I recommend you do is maybe pause the lecture now. You can log into AdWords and you can just click sign in. If you haven't got that set up already, you just need to sign up with a Gmail account. And you'll see that the first thing when you come to the campaigns tab here, the first thing that you'll see is really this option to set up a campaign. Now you can see that this might present a problem for you because you've got 6 different options and you might not know what to select. So what I want to do in this lecture is give you an overview of these 6 main categories, these types of campaigns you can set up, and then give you my recommendation for your first campaign. You can really go with the simplest, which is a search network only, and I'll explain why. So in terms of Google's ad network, it is absolutely massive. They have got a huge amount of properties, their own and also other websites where you can put Google ads. Now, when we looked at the Facebook ads versus Google ads, where is it, way back here, I talked about user intent, but one big difference as well is the scale of the ad networks. They're completely different. Facebook ads are really just on Facebook itself, but Google has a really massive ad network. And up to now in the course, we've really just been looking at, say, ads that appear in the Google search results here. This is mainly how people know AdWords, but they have a much bigger ad network outside of Google search itself. So that's what we want to cover in this course. I'll help you understand this. I think you'll be impressed by the size of their ad network. And then also we'll take that first step to set up the campaign. In general, AdWords ads can be displayed in the search network. So that's what we've looked at here. Not only for Google.com, but also for Google's partner sites. They have a number of sites where Google, the search engine, is really the driver there, and they display ads in there. And then not only in search, but also across their display network. And that can be sites like YouTube, Gmail, which are owned by Google, and also then partner sites like Wall Street Journal, New York Times. So you can see straight away that Google's ad network extends beyond their own properties like Google Search and YouTube, Gmail, and into partner sites. And this is what makes their ad network so big. So when you come into Google AdWords here, they are going to give you the option to really choose that. Where do you want to display your ads? And you'll see that the first option here is Search Network with Display Select. So what that means is that your ad will be displayed here in the search results, but then also across the display network. So you can see that straight away you should probably think, whoa, that is extremely broad. I could be across all these sites that I don't really know. So that's probably not going to be a good option, especially if you want to keep your budgets down and have very targeted traffic. Having such a, it says best opportunity to reach the most customers, true, but also best opportunity to spend a lot of money. So that is really what they're talking about there. It's across both of these search networks, and that can be extremely broad. Now the next option here, as you can see, is Search Network Only. So that is Google Search and Search Partners. So that is in the search results here, like they're displayed in some of the examples we've been looking at, and then also across Google's search partners. Now I've linked it up here. There isn't an explicit list that we can look at in terms of these search partners, but essentially it's Google search ads to hundreds of Google non-Google sites, as well as YouTube and other websites. On our search partner sites, your ads can appear on the search results page, on directory pages, and on other pages related to the person's search. So there's a big network of partners there who use Google search to help power their own search engines, and ads are displayed there. The third option there is the display network only. So if you don't want to be advertising in the search results, maybe you want to advertise on the display network only, which is really these partner sites. And I think a good way to get a sense of these is we can see clearly what these search ads look like. And if we just want to put in here a display network example, you can type that in to Google, look at some examples. You can see on websites here, they have these display ads. You're probably used to very much seeing them. You might not know that terminology, but essentially these are ads that display on websites. And Google has a huge list of partner sites. These are sites that essentially use Google AdSense to monetize their sites. So they sell their space on their website, just like this, to Google, and then Google actually sells the ad space. So Google is really the intermediary for these websites. Google helps them monetize their sites by connecting advertisers with free advertising space, as in available advertising space. So that is what the display network is. I've linked up here to a list of some of the sites, and this is probably not a complete list, but it can give you maybe a sense of some of the sites that are advertising and using Google AdSense. So we can open this up, and what we should see, like the example here, are some of the ads that are shown. So sometimes it's not always on the home page. Let's see if there's any ads here. I'm sure if I dig a little bit deeper and go through the site, you will find the ads, and actually there it's popping up now at the top of the screen. So that's probably what you're very familiar with seeing. These are Google AdSense ads, and you can see this ad is actually for Google. They're using their own advertising space to advertise one of their products. Okay, let me close some of these down. And so what we've covered now is Google Search Network with display. That's really both of those, very broad. Search network only, and that's Google Search and the search partners. So this search partners, that could be very broad even still. The display network can be less competitive than Google Search. It's not based on keywords as much as it is in Google Search. So it's more on interest and the type of website. And that is all powered by Google partner sites. Google AdSense is really how these sites monetize their websites, and Google is the intermediary to make that happen. Okay, hope that makes sense so far. Now, the fourth type of campaign is the shopping campaign. And I've just linked up a example of this because sometimes it's hard to find a real life example is in the search results because they're not available in every single country. But you can see here, this is what the shopping ads look like. They're not just text ads, they actually have a picture, and really these are for e-commerce sites generally. So that's the fourth type of campaign. Then there's of course video ads on YouTube. You're probably very familiar with seeing this if you're on YouTube and you don't use an ad blocker. You can see that, let's just say, sometimes there's ads up the top, sometimes there's a pre-roll ad on the video. They're not on every single video. It really depends if the content owner wants to monetize or not. So that is the next type of ad. And then finally there is the Universal App Campaign, and I've linked it off there if you want to read more about that. That's really a campaign type designed to promote your app, and you can promote it across search, display and YouTube. So as you can see, there are a lot of different options there. They're not very well explained inside of AdWords itself. So I hope that quick overview helps you to understand that it's very important to understand the type of campaign you select. So what I would recommend is that for your first campaign, select the search only network. So even if you're just doing this for a test, what I would suggest you do is come down and select search network only. What that means is that your ad will only be displayed in the search results. What we can do here as well is select all features. This enables us to use all of the features and options available for the search network. So if we hover over here, there's some examples there, a bit of an explanation about it, but essentially it opens up more features like ads, scheduling. There's a couple of other things, but you always want to select all features because it really opens up more options. And the final thing you want to do when you're selecting your campaign type here is untick include search partners. As you could see, there wasn't a definitive list of these search partners. So I think to get started, you just want to keep your campaign as focused as possible. And then that's what I'd really suggest. You might as well just type in a campaign name. You can really just leave that as campaign 1 actually if you want. So that is really the first couple of steps that we've taken inside AdWords itself. The step is really to select the right campaign. I've given you an overview of the 6 main campaign types you can choose from. And my recommendation for your first campaign is really just to select search network only, click all features, untick include search partners to really target your campaign even further. And once again, you can see that if you didn't untick these things and select the right network, you could really be throwing money down the drain. And that's why it's very important to understand AdWords, as you can see from this first step, before you start to advertise on it. All right, so that was point number 4, the 4th step to creating your first profitable AdWords campaign. In the next lecture, we're going to get into targeting your audience. You can see as you scroll down the page, there's the options for targeting start, and that's what we're going to get into next. So I'll see you in the next lecture.